My family's 4th of July gathering this year was at Aunt Martha's old farmhouse. It's a place with creaky floorboards and shadowy corners that always made me uneasy. As we celebrated with food and laughter, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Throughout the night, small things went missing. A phone charger, a set of keys. Everyone brushed it off as forgetfulness, but I couldn't ignore the sinking feeling in my gut. Then came the strange noises. A faint scratching from the attic, a low murmur from the basement. Curiosity and fear drove me to investigate. Up in the attic, dust motes danced in the beam of my flashlight, casting eerie shadows. Amidst forgotten boxes and cobwebbed furniture, I heard it again. A chilling whisper that seemed to call my name. Downstairs in the musty basement, the air was thick with cold dampness. I shivered as I scanned the shelves and old tools. Then something moved in the corner of my eye. A fleeting shadow darting between the shelves. My heart was racing as I stumbled back. I nearly tripped over an old rug. As the party wound down and guests departed, I found myself alone in the house. The noises grew louder and more insistent. Footsteps echoed in empty hallways, doors creaked open on their own. Dread coiled in my chest as I realized I wasn't alone. In the dim light, I glimpsed a figure, a silhouette in the doorway. Its eyes gleaming with malice. Frozen in terror, I watched as it moved closer. A sinister grin spreading across its face. Then with a sudden burst of courage, I bolted for the door, racing into the safety of the night. Behind me, the house seemed to sigh, its secrets hidden once more in the dark. To this day, I can't forget the feeling of being watched. The inexplicable occurrences that plagued the haunted farmhouse, on the 4th of July. It was supposed to be a typical 4th of July party, with friends, barbecue and fireworks. I didn't recognize everyone, but that's normal at big gatherings, right? As dusk settled, strangers began appearing, blending in with the crowd effortlessly. One of them caught my eye, a tall figure in a worn-out Uncle Sam costume, smiling too wide. They weren't invited, but no one seemed to notice. Unease crept over me as I watched them move through the party, chatting amiably with unsuspecting guests. Chaos erupted as fireworks painted the sky. The stranger in the Uncle Sam costume whipped out a knife, while shouting commands in a demeaning voice. Panic spread like wildfire as people screamed and scrambled to comply with their demands. I froze while my heart was pounding. I saw them dragging horror-stricken guests into rooms, shoving jewelry, wallets and other valuables into their black bags. The air was thickened with fear and with the acrid scent of smoke from the firecrackers. I hid in one of the kitchen cabinets, praying they wouldn't find me. Minutes felt like hours, as I listened to the muffled cries and the harsh demands by the uninvited guests. The robbers hurriedly fled upon hearing the approaching sirens, leaving behind shattered lives, and a shattered illusion of safety. As dawn broke, police swarmed the house while taking statements from shocked survivors. I never saw the stranger in the Uncle Sam costume again, but their haunting smile lingers in my nightmares. A chilling reminder of that fateful 4th of July party. The Macy's parade on the 4th of July was always a spectacle, but this year was different. As I stood among the crowd, marveling at the giant floats and colorful balloons, a chill ran down my spine. Something didn't feel right. Suddenly, amidst the cheer and music, I noticed figures that seemed out of place. Ghostly shapes which were translucent and shimmering, were weaving through the crowd. At first, I thought it was a trick of the light or exhaustion from the summer heat, but their presence became undeniable. These apparitions weren't joyful spectacles like the parade itself, they were haunting. Faces contorted in silent anguish, eyes pleading for something I couldn't understand. Some wore tattered clothing, remnants of years long past, while others seemed more recent, their modern attire contrasting starkly with their ghostly forms. I tried to look away, to focus on the parade, but their presence was magnetic, drawing my gaze back again and again. They floated along the sidelines, sometimes blending seamlessly with the living spectators, who seemed oblivious to their presence. As the parade continued, the atmosphere grew heavier. The cheerful tunes from marching bands seemed distorted and discordant, as if the very air was thick with sorrow. I felt a compulsion to follow these spirits, to understand their silent cries, but fear rooted me to the spot. Then just as quickly as they had appeared, they began to fade. Their forms dissipated like smoke in the wind, leaving behind only echoes of their sorrowful presence. The crowd around me resumed their jubilant cheers, unaware of the otherworldly encounter I had just witnessed. I left the parade that day with a sense of unease, haunted by the ghostly apparitions that had briefly graced the celebration. I sat on a bench in a park, wondering who they were and what do they want. But I have no intention to stop watching the Macy's parade, with or without those ghostly figures.